I stare at the diamond bracelet on my wrist, watching it catch the light from Marcus's floor-to-ceiling windows. 6 months ago, I thought this was everything I wanted. Maya, are you even listening to me? Marcus doesn't look up from his laptop as he speaks. Sorry, what did you say? I said I'll be late tonight, another business dinner. His fingers never stop typing. Order yourself something expensive for dinner. Put it on my card. I want to tell him I'd rather cook together like Jake and I used to do, but I bite my tongue. Okay. He finally glances at me, his blue eyes cold as winter. Wear the red dress tonight, the Versace one. I might bring clients by later. I thought you said you'd be late. Plans change, Maya. Try to keep up. I scroll through my phone, and Jake's latest post appears on my feed. He's smiling with his students at some school event, flour in his hair from a baking project. That smile used to be just for me. Marcus, do you remember when we first met? You said you wanted to build something real with me. He laughs without humor. Real? Maya, this is real. This penthouse, these opportunities I give you. What you had before was a fantasy. My chest tightens. Jake wasn't a fantasy. Your teacher boyfriend who could barely afford to take you to Olive Garden. Marcus finally closes his laptop. Come on, be honest. You were dying in that relationship. I remember sitting in that cramped coffee shop with Jake 3 months ago, watching him fidget with something in his jacket pocket. I knew what it was. I knew what was coming. And instead of excitement, all I felt was trapped. I need some air, I whisper. Don't be dramatic, Maya. We have everything here. But as I look around this glass palace, all I feel is empty. I can't stop thinking about that night, the night I destroyed everything. I need more than this, Jake, I had said, gesturing on his small apartment where we'd spent 3 years building memories. Jake's brown eyes filled with confusion. More than what, Maya? More than us? More than struggling to pay rent every month. More than wondering if we'll ever afford a real vacation, or a nice wedding, or... Maya, slow down. His voice was so gentle, even as I was tearing his heart out. I thought we were happy. I thought we were building something real together. Real? I had laughed cruelly. Jake, you teach 8th grade. You'll never make enough money to give me the life I want. What life? What are you talking about? That's when Marcus's words echoed in my head. All those weeks he'd been pursuing me, telling me I deserved better. I want designer clothes, Jake. I want to eat at restaurants that don't have plastic menus. I want to travel first class and live somewhere with more than 1 bedroom. Jake sat down heavily on his couch. Is this about Marcus Blackwell? I couldn't look at him. Marcus understands my ambitions. Your ambitions? Jake's voice cracked. Maya, since when do you care about any of that stuff? You used to say the best dates were the ones where we cooked dinner and watched movies. I was settling, Jake. I see that now. The light in his eyes dimmed completely. Settling. 3 years and you were settling. Jake, Get out. His voice was barely a whisper. Just, please go. As I packed my things, my phone buzzed. Sarah. Maya, what are you doing? Jake called me crying. Please tell me you're not really choosing that man over him. I typed back angrily. You wouldn't understand, Sarah. Some of us want more from life. Her response came immediately. I understand perfectly. You're throwing away the best man you'll ever find for a man who collects women like trophies. I blocked her number that night. I was so sure she was jealous. Now, staring out at Marcus's view of the city, I realized she was trying to save me. Marcus comes home at 2 a.m., his shirt wrinkled and smelling like perfume that isn't mine. Where were you? I'm waiting in the living room, unable to sleep. I told you, business dinner. He loosens his tie, not meeting my eyes. Until 2 a.m.? Maya, you're being paranoid. That charming smile appears, the one that used to make me weak. I was at the Ritz with the Japanese investors. You can call and check if you want. But his phone buzzes, and I catch a glimpse of the name. Elena. Who's Elena? His smile falters for just a second. My assistant's daughter. She's been having some problems. Your assistant's daughter texts you heart emojis at 2 a.m.? Maya, stop. His voice turns sharp. This jealousy isn't attractive on you. I want to press further, but I remember Jake's honesty, how he never made me question anything. With Marcus, I'm always questioning everything. I miss my friends, I say quietly. What friends? You mean Sarah, who filled your head with doubts about me? Or maybe you mean your ex-boyfriend's little teacher friends? Sarah was my best friend. Was. Past tense. You've outgrown that life, Maya. You're with me now. His phone rings. Marcus Blackwell, he answers, walking into his office and closing the door. Through the glass, I see him laughing, his whole demeanor changing. I wander to the kitchen, missing Jake's terrible pancakes and the way he'd sing off-key while cooking. This marble palace feels like a museum, beautiful but cold. When I was at dinner last week, a woman approached me in the bathroom, elegant, older, with sad eyes. You're with Marcus Blackwell, she said. It wasn't a question. Yes, do you know him? She smiled sadly. I'm Catherine, his ex-wife. My blood went cold. He told me he was never married. Of course he did. She touched up her lip. Stick. Enjoy the penthouse, dear. Just remember, when you're no longer shiny and new, you'll be replaced just like I was. She left me standing there shaking. Now watching Marcus through his office window, laughing with whoever's on the phone, I finally understand what Catherine meant. I come home early from work on Tuesday, planning to surprise Marcus with his favorite dinner. Instead, I find him in our bed with a blonde who looks barely 20. Oh my God! The girl scrambles for her clothes. Marcus doesn't even look embarrassed. Maya, you're supposed to be at work. Get out, I whisper to the girl who's pulling on her dress. Maya, I'm so sorry, she says, tears in her eyes. He told me you two were broken up. He said you were just his roommate now. Elena, leave, Marcus says calmly, still lying in our bed. Elena, the assistant's daughter, the heart emoji girl. You promised me the same things he promised you, Elena whispers as she passes me. The penthouse, the trips to Paris, the jewelry. He has a whole routine. After she leaves, Marcus finally sits up. Are you going to stand there all day, or are we going to talk about this like adults? Adults? I'm shaking with rage. You're cheating on me with a child. She's 22. And Maya, let's be honest here. You really thought you were special. His words hit like ice water. What? You left your little teacher boyfriend for me. That told me everything I need to know about your character. He stands up, completely naked and completely shameless. You're the type of woman who abandons loyalty for luxury. Did you think I'd be loyal to someone like that? Someone like what? Someone who throws away love for money. He pulls on his pants. Jake was going to propose to you that night in the coffee shop, wasn't he? My heart stops. How do you know that? Marcus laughs. Because I saw him there earlier, buying the ring. Did you think it was coincidence that I showed up right after you stormed out? The room spins. You planned this? I saw a beautiful woman with a weak character, and I wanted to see how easily she could be bought. Turns out, very easily. I sink onto the couch. You destroyed my relationship for sport? I didn't destroy anything, Maya. You did that all by yourself. I just gave you the opportunity to show who you really are. My phone trembles in my hands as I try to call Sarah, but it goes straight to voicemail. Then I remember. I blocked her number. When I try to unblock it and call back, she doesn't answer. I try Jake's number, but it's disconnected. He changed his number. I'm completely alone, surrounded by expensive things that suddenly feel like prison bars. Pack your things, Maya. Elena's moving in next week. My studio apartment feels like a shoebox after the penthouse, but at least it's mine. The silence is deafening after months of Marcus's control. Maya, honey, are you okay? My sister Lisa calls every day now, worried. I'm fine, Lisa, just adjusting. You don't sound fine. You sound broken. Because I am broken. I finally admit it. I threw away everything real for something fake, and now I have nothing. You have me. You have your job. You can rebuild. But when I try to reach out to old friends, most don't answer. I burned too many bridges during my Marcus phase, canceling plans and acting superior. At work, my coworker David brings me coffee when I look particularly sad. Rough breakup? He asks kindly. The roughest. I made some really bad choices. We all have. The good news is, you can make better choices now. David is sweet, genuine, everything Marcus pretended to be. But when he asks me to lunch, I panic. I'm not ready for anything like that. I understand. But Maya, you can't punish yourself forever for whatever happened. After work, I start seeing Dr. Martinez, a therapist Lisa recommended. Tell me about this relationship that ended, she says. Which one? I destroyed 2 relationships at once. Start with whichever one feels more important. Jake. His name was Jake, and he was the best person I've ever known. What made him special? He loved me exactly as I was. He didn't try to change me or control me or make me into some trophy. He just loved me. And you left him? I left him for a man who saw me as a challenge to conquer. Jake was going to propose, and instead of feeling happy, I felt trapped. I thought I wanted more excitement, more luxury. And now? Now I realize that real love isn't exciting every day. It's safe and steady and true. Jake was my home, and I gave it up for a hotel suite. Dr. Martinez nods. Recovery starts with understanding what we truly value. What do you value now? Honesty, loyalty, people who see the real me and love me anyway. That's a good foundation to build on. But as I walk home to my tiny apartment, I can't shake the feeling that I've learned this lesson too late. The phone rings while I'm making dinner, ramen noodles, the kind Jake and I used to eat when we were too broke for anything else. Sarah's name appears on my screen, and for a moment, my heart leaps. Sarah? Hi, Maya. Her voice is gentle but careful. How are you? I've been better. Sarah, I'm so sorry about everything I said. You were trying to help me, and I was... Maya, stop. I didn't call for an apology. Something in her tone makes my stomach drop. Okay. I wanted you to hear this from me before you saw it online. Jake proposed to me last weekend. The world stops spinning. My knees give out, and I sink to the kitchen floor. Maya, are you there? You and Jake? My voice doesn't sound like my own. I know this must be hard to hear. When? How? After you left him, he was devastated. We started talking because we were both worried about you, and then... Maya, I need you to know we didn't plan this. It just happened. I want to scream. I want to accuse her of betrayal, but I created this situation. We were both heartbroken, Sarah continues. Jake because you left him, and me because I lost my best friend. We helped each other heal. Where did he propose? The coffee shop where you two used to go. He said he wanted to replace the bad memory with a good one. The coffee shop where he was going to propose to me, where I broke his heart instead. Sarah, Maya, I loved you like a sister, but Jake loves me like I never thought anyone could, the way he used to love you. After we hang up, I immediately go to Instagram. There they are, Jake and Sarah, beaming at the camera. She's wearing a simple solitaire ring, nothing like the expensive jewelry Marcus used to buy me. But the joy on their faces is real. Jake looks happier than I ever saw him with me. In every photo, he's looking at Sarah like she's his whole world, the way he used to look at me before I became me, obsessed with what he couldn't give me instead of grateful for what he could. I scroll through months of their photos, cooking together in Jake's tiny kitchen, both covered in flour and laughing, hiking trips and movie nights, and all the simple pleasures I took for granted. There's a photo from last week, Jake teaching Sarah's niece to ride a bike while Sarah watches from a picnic blanket. They look like a family, like the family Jake and I talked about having someday. I screenshot the proposal photo and stare at it until my eyes blur with tears. This is what I gave up. This is what I threw away for a man who never loved me at all. I call in sick to work for 3 days straight, unable to do anything but scroll through Jake and Sarah's social media like I'm addicted to the pain. There's a new post from Sarah. Cooking Sunday dinner with my fiancé, even if he does put too much salt in everything. The photo shows them in Jake's kitchen, the same kitchen where I used to complain about the outdated appliances and lack of counter space. Now it looks warm and inviting, filled with laughter and love I never appreciated. A knock on my door interrupts my spiral. It's Mrs. Patterson from next door, holding a casserole dish. You haven't been getting your mail, dear. I was worried. I'm fine, Mrs. Patterson, just dealing with some things. She pushes past me into my apartment, sets down the casserole, and looks around at the mess I've made. Tissues everywhere, empty takeout containers, my laptop permanently open to social media. Heartbreak? She asks simply, something like that. May I sit? For the next hour, Mrs. Patterson tells me about her own lost love, a man she left for someone richer, only to realize too late that she'd traded gold for fool's gold. I spent 40 years regretting that choice, she says. Don't you spend 40 years doing the same. But they're getting married, Mrs. Patterson. I can't undo what I did. No, you can't, but you can stop torturing yourself and start building a life worthy of the lesson you've learned. After she leaves, I sit down and write letters I'll never send. Dear Jake, I'm sorry I couldn't see your love for what it was, the most precious thing I'll ever receive. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't enough when you were everything. Dear Sarah, I'm sorry I chose pride over friendship. You tried to save me from myself and I pushed you away. Thank you for loving Jake the way I should have. That night, I sign up for community college classes and volunteer at the local shelter. If I can't have love, maybe I can at least learn to deserve it again. But as I fall asleep, I can't stop thinking about Jake's smile in those photos, brighter and more genuine than it ever was with me. The cream-colored envelope sits on my kitchen counter for 3 hours before I work up the courage to open it. My name is written in Sarah's careful handwriting, the same handwriting that used to fill birthday cards and thank you notes when we were inseparable. Inside is a wedding invitation with elegant script and a small photo of Jake and Sarah laughing together. There's also a handwritten note. Maya, I know this might be hard, but you were such an important part of both our lives. We'd love for you to be there if you feel ready. Sarah, Jake. I sit on my kitchen floor and cry, not just from sadness, but from the overwhelming kindness they're showing me when I deserve nothing from them. My phone rings. It's a number I can't recognize. Maya? This is Tom, Jake's brother. My heart pounds. Hi, Tom. I hope it's okay that I called. Sarah gave me your number. Of course it's okay. I wanted to talk to you about the wedding invitation. Jake wasn't sure you'd want to come, but Sarah insisted on sending it. I don't know if I should. Maya, can I tell you something? After you left, Jake was destroyed. I mean completely broken. Sarah was the one who helped him put the pieces back together. Guilt crashes over me again. I know, I messed up everything. But here's the thing, Jake still talks about you sometimes. Not romantically, but he says you taught him what he didn't want in a relationship. That's not exactly comforting, Tom. No, wait. He says you taught him to never settle for someone who doesn't appreciate what they have. Sarah appreciates everything about him. She sees his kindness as strength, not weakness. I close my eyes. She always did. Even when we were together, Sarah would tell me how lucky I was. Jake knows you're struggling. He doesn't want to hurt you more, but he also wants to move forward without anger. The invitation is about forgiveness, Maya, for all of you. After we hang up, I call Dr. Martinez. I got a wedding invitation. To my ex-boyfriend's wedding. To my former best friend. How does that make you feel? Destroyed, but also grateful? They didn't have to include me. They could have just moved on and forgotten I existed. What do you think they're trying to tell you by inviting you? That they forgive me, and maybe that they want me to forgive myself. Do you want to go? I think about Jake's smile in those photos, about Sarah's kindness even after I hurt her, about the love I helped create by being so terrible at accepting it. Yes, I think I do. I stand at the back of St. Mary's Church wearing a simple blue dress I bought specifically because it doesn't scream for attention. The same church where Sarah and I used to volunteer at the soup kitchen, where Jake and I attended Christmas services and talked about our own wedding someday. The ceremony is small and intimate, maybe 50 people. I recognize some of Jake's teacher friends, Sarah's family, faces from our old life when I was part of their world. Jake stands at the altar in his navy suit, the same one he wore to his cousin's wedding where we danced until midnight. He looks nervous but happy, genuinely happy in a way I never saw when he was planning to propose to me. When Sarah appears at the back of the church, my breath catches. She's wearing her grandmother's vintage lace dress, simple and elegant and perfect. She's radiant with a joy I never felt during my Marcus days, when I had everything money could buy, but nothing my heart needed. As she walks down the aisle, Jake's entire face transforms. The love in his eyes is so pure, so complete, that I have to look away. He never looked at me like that. Or maybe he did, and I was too busy wanting more to notice. Do you, Jacob Michael Williams, take Sarah Elizabeth Mitchell to be your wife? I do. His voice is steady and sure. Sarah saved me when I thought my heart was too broken to heal. She showed me what real love looks like. Sarah wipes away tears of joy as she says her own vows about finding love when she least expected it, about Jake's kindness teaching her what she deserved. After the ceremony, I hover near the exit, not sure if I should stay for the reception, but Sarah spots me. Maya! She approaches with Jake beside her, both of them glowing with happiness. Congratulations, I whisper, meaning it completely despite the pain in my chest. Sarah hugs me, and she smells like the same vanilla parfum, she wore in college. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't. Jake extends his hand and I shake it. Thank you for letting me be here. Maya, I want you to know there's no anger anymore. We're all different people than we were a year ago. Jake's mother appears beside us, elegant in navy blue. Maya, dear, how are you? I'm okay, Mrs. Williams. Your son looks happy. He is, and Sarah is perfect for him. She pauses, studying my face. You look different too, honey. Sadder but wiser. I learned some hard lessons. The best lessons usually are hard. I hope you find your own happiness, dear. You deserve it too. As they move on to greet other guests, I realize Mrs. Williams is right. Attending this wedding wasn't about punishment or self-torture. It was about closure, about seeing the love I helped create by being too blind to appreciate it myself. I slip out during the first dance, but not before seeing Jake and Sarah swaying together, lost in their own world of contentment I threw away, but they built together from the pieces of our broken friendships. 6 months after the wedding, I'm sitting in Café Luna, the same coffee shop where this all began, where Jake was going to propose, and where I shattered both our hearts instead. But today feels different. Are you sure you want to sit here? David asks, sliding into the booth across from me. Doesn't this place have bad memories? It does, but I'm trying to make new ones. David smiles. He's patient with my healing process, never pushing for more than I can give. How was therapy this week? Good. Dr. Martinez says I'm learning to value authentic connections over superficial ones. That's progress. David is everything Marcus pretended to be. Kind, genuine, interested in my thoughts and dreams rather than just my appearance. When he asked me to dinner last month, I almost said no out of habit, but I'm learning that not all men are Marcus, just like not all relationships have to be about what someone can give me materially. I saw Jake and Sarah at the grocery store yesterday, I tell him. How did that feel? Sad, but not devastated. They looked happy, really happy. Sarah was laughing at something Jake said, and he was carrying her groceries like they were precious cargo. That must be hard. It is. But David, I also felt grateful. Grateful? They found each other because I was too stupid to appreciate what I had. In a weird way, my mistake created their happiness. My phone buzzes with a text from my sister Lisa. Proud of you for starting social work school. Jake would be proud too. I've changed careers, leaving marketing for social work. I want to help people avoid the mistakes I made. to see their worth beyond material things. I volunteer at the shelter tomorrow, I tell David. Want to come help serve dinner? I'd love to. As we leave the cafe, I catch a glimpse of Jake and Sarah's house down the street. There's a sold sign on the lawn. They're probably moving somewhere bigger, maybe starting a family. The thought still stings, but it's a different kind of pain now, less selfish, more wistful. That evening, I write in the journal Dr. Martinez suggested. I can't change the past. I can't undo the hurt I caused, or take back the words that shattered Jake's heart. I can't reclaim the friendship I destroyed with Sarah, or erase the months I wasted with Marcus. But I can learn from it all. I can build relationships based on genuine connection instead of what someone can do for me. I can appreciate simple kindness instead of grand gestures. I can be someone worthy of real love, even if that love doesn't come from the person I originally wanted it from. Jake and Sarah taught me that real love isn't about expensive dinners or designer jewelry. It's about someone caring enough to learn how you like your coffee, to hold you during scary movies, to support your dreams even when they're small. It's about choosing each other every day, not because you have to, but because you can't imagine choosing anyone else. I threw that away once. I won't make that mistake again. I close the journal and look around my small apartment. It's not a penthouse, but it's filled with things that matter. Photos with Lisa, books from my classes, a plant David gave me that's somehow still alive despite my historically black thumb. I'm learning to live again, not the life I thought I wanted, but the life I'm building. Honest, authentic, and finally worthy of real love, whenever it comes. The diamond bracelet Marcus gave me sits in a drawer, tarnished and forgotten. I should probably sell it, but for now, it serves as a reminder of the person I never want to be again.